A hush arrives that asks nothing and reveals everything, bringing the mind closer to a simple center. In this silent opening, the smallest recognition of thanks becomes its first breath. Let attention settle like a hand on an evening window, feeling cool and still, gentle and alive. Awareness can find the seed of gratitude beneath ordinary rhythm, unnoticed until observation rests there. Allow your heart to be patient with this tender beginning and know that small noticing carries quiet power. The moment itself is a teacher that asks only to be seen. Under that hush, a seed of thankful recognition opens toward light, thin threads of feeling stretching outward. It is enough to name a single small kindness, a breath that arrived steady, a warmth that touched the edge of day. That single recognition invites curiosity rather than judgment, as if examining a tiny flame held in cupped hands. Quiet awareness feeds the seed. Patience gives it room to breathe and grow. There is no hurry here, only a slow tendril of feeling that learns to trust sunlight. Presence holds this growth with a reverent, steady attentiveness. As the seed steadies, roots of presence extend into the dark soil of memory and care, anchoring tender new feeling. These roots are not forced but chosen, a deliberate return to the breath, an acceptance of what is. They feed a subtle resilience that will support future storms and quiet seasons alike. Allow grounding images, roots, water, earth to steady the mind when distraction arrives. The act of returning becomes its own kind of gratitude, a quiet testament to staying open. In the soil of attention, the smallest grateful thought becomes surprisingly strong. Careful tending invites a spark to become a steady glow without needing to demand brilliance or constant movement. Simple, regular attention, like watering at dawn, keeps the light steady and resilient. There is no need to compare brightness. Each glow holds its own quiet value and teaches compassionate measure. Let the practice be gentle, patient, and kind, honoring the smallness that becomes habit. This rhythm forms a basis for gratitude that will expand without forcing itself. In such tending, the world subtly rearranges around this new steadiness. Gratitude is a practice of collecting small lights, noticing warmth where it quietly exists. Each kind gesture, each calm breath, each small relief is like a shard of sun gathered into a private lantern. Keep these lights carefully. They form a treasury not visible to the eye, but felt in the chest. When noticed and named, these moments add weight to joy and buoyancy to sorrow alike. This gentle accumulation transforms the perception of scarcity into a quiet sense of plenty. Let remembering become an act of gathering rather than chasing. There is power in counting small gifts, not as a checklist, but as a ritual that tunes the nervous system. Naming 3 small things at dusk steadies the mind and reorders the day's weight. This counting becomes a soft architecture. 1, 2, 3, and then the space between those numbers becomes more breathable. The practice resists the mind's habit to magnify lack by gently redirecting it toward what is present. Through repeated noticing, the field of view slowly brightens. The heart learns this language and remembers how to return. Once lights are gathered, they require a shape to be held within an inner vessel large enough for complexity. This vessel is composed from acceptance, gentle curiosity, and steady breath that keeps the glow from escaping into distraction. Allow the mind to cradle the feeling without insisting on explanation or perfection. Holding does not mean clinging. It means making room for warmth while remaining open to what shifts. In this practice, the glow becomes available even in difficult weather. The vessel teaches endurance and tenderness in equal measure. Gradually, gathering light transforms into a daily orientation rather than a solitary act, shaping perception and choice. Life becomes an interplay of noticing, naming, and returning, where even ordinary moments can be luminous. This orientation softens reactivity and invites creative responses rather than automatic defense. The steady light clarifies what matters and shows paths through confusion with gentle illumination. Practiced, gratitude becomes a lens that enlarges detail and reduces overwhelm. There is an ease that comes when noticing becomes second nature. Gratitude gains strength when rooted in stable foundations, habits that return attention to what steadies the life. Simple anchors can be breath, a short ritual, or a phrase that quietly reorients the mind. When employed regularly, these anchors become familiar harbors in times of turbulence. The practice is not avoidance, but a deliberate return to center that allows clearer perspective. With steady foundations, challenges no longer erode inner balance as quickly. Graceful resilience grows where anchors are practiced and trusted. Even amid storms, gratitude can act as a practical tool, not a denial of difficulty, but a companion to courage. Naming one small fact of steadiness, like a breath or a reliable routine, creates a bridge across turbulent feelings. This bridge provides a vantage point from which decisions can be clearer and kinder. Allowing hardship to exist while recognizing small supports softens the mind's tendency toward collapse. In that softening, a capacity for wiser action appears. The heart becomes more spacious and less likely to be consumed by crisis. Resilience is not stiffness, but flexibility rooted in attentive care and meaningful practice. Gratitude supplies nutrients to those roots, stories of small survival, moments of help received, the continuity of breath. Tending these roots does not require grand gestures. Everyday acknowledgments supply steady strength. Over time, resilience feels less like endurance and more like cultivated responsiveness. This capacity supports both growth and rest without guilt. In nurturing resilience, stability and openness coexist. Simple rituals, listening to a single sound, holding a brief phrase, breathing with intention, become anchors that reclaim clarity throughout the day. These practices need not be ornate. Their power lies in regularity and attention. As they anchor daily life, choices become more aligned with values and less impulsive. This alignment allows gratitude to be practical, shaping reactions and informing gentle discipline. Rituals temper the nervous system and open a steady channel to peaceful action. Through small, repeated acts, thanks becomes a lived expression. Gratitude naturally turns outward, a light that seeks to be shared rather than hoarded. When the inner lantern has been tended, there is an impulse to pass its warmth along through words, acts, or quiet presence. This giving is not transactional, but an offering that multiplies what is felt inside. Sharing gratitude reframes relationships and softens the edges of loneliness or separation. The gesture need not be large. A small, sincere acknowledgement resonates more deeply than grand performance. In giving, the inner glow brightens with reciprocal life. Attention is the simplest generosity, an honest, undivided presence that validates another's being. Offering attention can be the most radical act of gratitude, restoring dignity and creating connection in ways words sometimes cannot. Practiced often, this generosity rewires the quality of daily interactions and fosters mutual care. Notice how small attentions, listening without planning a response, looking with warmth, rearrange the emotional landscape. Such acts deepen gratitude into relationship and shared resilience. The world responds when attention is given freely and kindly. A single grateful act creates ripples that spread beyond immediate sight, touching unknown shores with gentle influence. One acknowledged kindness invites another, and slowly the pattern of reciprocity grows into a visible culture of care. Understand that small, consistent acts of thanks have cumulative power greater than occasional grand displays. This ripple is not controlled but trusted, a living consequence of steady practice. Allow the trust that these ripples matter to guide everyday choices. In this way, gratitude becomes a quiet force for communal healing. Over time, these gathered practices transform perception into a landscape where abundance is recognized even amid lack. Life shaped by thanks moves with fewer harsh edges and more room for curiosity and growth. The final practice is not perfection, but an ongoing return, a continual choosing to notice, tend, anchor, and share. In this return, the listener becomes a steward of small lights that brighten inner and outer worlds. Let gratitude be the quiet architecture of decisions and relationship. The journey continues, luminous and steady,